Okay, so I've been meaning to do a 3 looks 1 palette review type of video for this palette for weeks, but there's just been so many things happening, so many other palettes that I have been trying to cram out in the meantime because I did get this palette late. So finally I was just like, Katie, stop trying to make a full review. Let's just do a first impressions and play with it and actually get a video out on my channel, and then I can continue trying it behind the scenes and update you guys in a future palette palooza. So that is what we're going to be doing today. We're going to play with the Wicked Widow Cosmetics. I forget what this is called because once again, they don't put the name on it. I want to say it has something to do with Scissorhands. I don't understand the packaging because it's a snow globe with a like kind of glass figurine girl, but that has scissors around the edges, but that has a dinosaur and a reindeer, little, what do you call those, grass figurines. It's a very interesting artwork design. Like I said, I think it's Scissorhands, which I don't know anything about that movie, so maybe this makes perfect sense to you if you've watched it, but for me, I'm just like absolutely blanking here, and like I said, I don't know the name, but I really want to play with it because look at this color story. I am super intrigued. It's very, very grungy, very pretty, lots of beautiful shimmers, lots of beautiful looking mattes, and I've only tried 1 palette from Wicked Widow Beauty, so I'm curious to see how I like this palette. They did say that they have done some improvements to their matte formula, which I'm super excited to try, and those, like I said, those shimmers just look amazing, so I really want to play with this, and I also want to chit chat with you guys about Ulta and Ulta's ultimate reward system and just kind of where I'm at with it, because as you guys saw from the title, I'm no longer part of their premium club or tier or whatever you want to call it. I'm no longer at that level anymore. And I was like Ulta Platinum for like 2-3 years. It's been a while, and now I'm not. So I just thought it'd be a fun topic to talk about. So let's get right into it. Okay, so I have no idea what I want to do. Per usual, I feel like I'm always coming on here saying, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm holding upside down just because it's easier to hold up this way and not blind you with the mirror. But let's go ahead and just start with the darkest shade, which honestly, I'm just now noticing isn't that dark. Interesting. Okay, I feel like the darkest shade is going to be this one right here. Whenever I opened it the first couple times, I was like, oh yeah, lots of dark greens, but the dark greens are like, and also a dark blue, but they're shimmers. So that is going to be a little interesting. I'll have to do more of those like kind of graphic cut creases, all shimmer looks with these, because there's a lot of very pretty shimmers that are very dark. They'll be pretty on the outer corner, but for can I talk? For today, let's go in with this shade here. And then what am I going to do on top of that? I don't know. I kind of want to go into this to make a dark outer purple, but I don't know if there's too much warmth in there. Let's give it a try. This shade is called Scars. And also, if you didn't notice, you can pull out these single shadows, which I think is really cool. So if you want to put them in like a magnetic palette or switch them around or switch them out for different eyeshadows, you could really be really versatile with this palette. I think that's a really neat aspect I'm starting to see some brands do, and I appreciate it because especially for like, if I wasn't a content creator, I feel like I would do that a lot more, of just taking my favorite shades and putting them into my favorite type of palettes so that I could create whatever I want when it comes to the type of color stories, or I could at least remove maybe shades that I didn't really like and I wouldn't want to use. I could just take them out and then replace them with something that I liked. So I think that's a neat addition. I'm sure it makes it a little bit more expensive because they have to be magnetic in the back instead of just glued in. So I appreciate when brands go that extra step. Okay, this shadow seems fine. I feel like it's definitely a shadow I will have to kind of see as I use it. It's looking like it was wanting to do a little bit of funky stuff. I don't know if you saw that. It was almost like patching, but I kept packing it on and it looks good. It just looks like it's one of those shades where depending on how much you put down, you might have some areas that look really deep and beautiful and some areas that aren't really wanting to stick unless you keep going. I feel like I got a pretty even blend, so that's good. Let's go ahead and just take that purple, which is Mansion. We're gonna put that using the same brush right on top. Yeah, so I am not Ulta Platinum anymore. I am not a Platinum member. I think you have to spend like, I forget how much it was. They changed it up a couple years ago, and honestly, like I feel so out of touch when it comes to Ulta. And I was thinking about it when the end of the year was coming up, and I was like, wow, I'm not gonna hit, I wanna say it's like 12 or 1500 that you have to hit in order to become, like that platinum for the next year. And it was towards the end of last year, I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna be hitting it. And I was like, well, what do I think about that? Real quick, I'm just gonna show you guys the difference. I like the purple packed on top. It's really nice and smooth. It blended in really nicely with that shade. This is the one just by itself. It gave me what I was looking for, and there is no sign of like patching weirdness at all. I mean, a little bit right here, but it's also because I can't get there, so no fault of the eyeshadow, it's just my eye shape. But I like that. Like, that is nice and deep. I am happy. I'm happy. As long as there's 1 or 2 shades that I can get super deep on the outer corner, I feel like this brown is going to do that, where I'm able to combine it with the different shades to get a deep outer corner. So I like that. We're gonna go in with green on the inner corner, I think, because for the lightest shade I'll probably end up using that steel color, blue color. Man, the shimmers are gonna be hard because they're like almost shifty. Some of them look a little shifty, so it's like, ugh, what am I gonna use? Yeah, let's use green. I'm gonna use a darker green, and then I'm gonna follow it up with the more lighter tone green, but it's like a grayed out green, so I feel like it'll give this look a very cool tone grayed out look. So we're gonna go into Garden. So far, very impressed with the mattes. Night and day difference from the last time I tried Wicked Widow Beauty. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, you're probably gonna see some of my nails are a little dirty. I was out in the garden this morning, and I plan to go right back out in the garden after naps, so I didn't sit there and clean my nails to get all the dirt out, because it's literally going back in and my hands are clean, but I just didn't get the like nitty gritty in there, so excuse me if you see that. But anyway, yeah, towards the end of last year I was like, oh my goodness, I'm not gonna hit it, and I went through my head of like, well, should I start trying to, like, especially towards the end of the year, like latter half, last 3 months after Sophia was born, and I was thinking about it, I was like, oh, do I want to try to hit it before it ends? And I think, honestly, I think I'd only spent like $200, maybe $300 total at Ulta Beauty, so I was like, Katie, let's not be ridiculous here. That's a lot you gotta spend. And for a little while I was kind of like a little sad, and then just wondering like what happened. Like, have my spending habits changed so much lately that I'm just not, you know, buying as much as I usually do? I mean, I do my taxes every year, so I'm still buying makeup. Oh my goodness. But it kind of hit me that I think it's been the change going into indie beauty and indie palettes, like reviewing those more exclusively on my channel. That's really kind of been the reason why I'm not a platinum or Ulta Platinum. Like I said, I can't remember if it's Ulta Platinum or Ulta Diamond. I think they might have both. I was at the highest level when I lost it this past year. I forget what it is, I'm sorry. But yeah, I think it is, it all has to do with the fact that a couple years ago, 2-3 years ago, I was like, I really like indie eyeshadow palettes. Like, they have so much creativity, they have such great quality, and you're supporting a small business, typically like either a one-person show or a family-run business. And I've just kind of taken that and kind of not made it my channel, but made it my focus on my channel for sure. And then in the last year or two, I really kind of honed in on that focus to be like with my channel to be exclusively palettes. So I'm not even really doing like face makeup. You know, I used to review mascaras, foundations. I used to do like every month reviewing all the new stuff that I tried and whatnot. And I really stopped doing that just from time constraints and like what I enjoy using and, you know, getting to review on my channel. I just loved palettes so much that I was like, I'm just gonna focus on that. And I think that's the biggest reason why I'm gonna do the don't go now. I'm no longer platinum because I buy, and the focus of my channel is so much on indie beauty, and you can't really get those at Ulta as much. Or if you, I mean, you can, some of them like Juvia's Place and whatnot, but also some of those indie brands that are starting to pop up in Ulta, you're gonna be very late to reviewing them by the time you get them. So, and honestly, I can't remember the last time I reviewed Juvia's Place palettes. I feel like I usually, the last couple of releases I haven't been drawn to. But anyway, that's beside the point. I'm not buying from Ulta as much as I used to, and then also just with how busy my life has gotten and not having the focus of reviewing new face makeup as well on my channel, I don't buy the face products as much. Now, I still do buy like foundations and stuff. I still probably have way too much, but I've definitely cut back, and there's been foundations that it's like they come out, or concealers, and I'm like, ooh, that looks so fun, I want to try it. And then I'll put it in my Ulta cart, and I'll, you know, plan to like go back and make a purchase so I can try it out and maybe do a video type of thing. And then life happens and I forget, and it's 2 weeks later and I'm like, oh yeah. And so hectic life has been saving me money. That's one way to think of it. I'm gonna go into Peg. I thought I said pig for a minute. I'm gonna go into Peg and put that on the outer edge. This is blending amazing. Like, they said that they reformulated their mattes. They absolutely did. This is impressive. So yeah, since I'm not, you know, not buying from them often for palettes, also too, like I would often look, be like, okay, what's Ulta got in there that, like, what's Ulta's new palettes that I might be interested in reviewing? And everything's so boring, especially after trying, you know, trying indie makeup for so long. I'm just kind of like, no thank you. So I have not been making many purchases from Ulta. I think my most consistent purchases from Ulta are like my makeup removers, you know, face wash and stuff like that, and hand soap, because I like getting hand soap from them when they're on sale for like $3 each. I'll stock up on a hand soap for around the house, and I do my body wash and hair and stuff like that, but I don't go through it that often. So that's really all I'm buying from Ulta now. And they took away my favorite deodorant. That could have been a constant all through last year of me buying it, because I do feel like I go through several a year, but they stopped selling my Schmidt's deodorant and I was so sad. So I don't buy that there anymore. And yeah, I just kind of, like, life has been so busy and the changes to my channel, I'm not making that many purchases at Ulta anymore. So yeah, I'm not gonna be a platinum or a diamond or whatever anymore. And I'm kind of, like I said, I'm kind of sad because I really did enjoy, you know, the perks that came with it, as far as like the shipping perks when it came to sales. Like once a month you could get something for free. That was cool, although I feel like this last year I think I was just so busy that I didn't ever remember like seeing one being like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make a purchase and buy it. I never got any of the freebies. So did they stop that? Watch them like end that and I didn't even notice, because 2022 was so insane. Sometimes I'm like, why didn't I realize that? And I'm like, oh yeah, Katie, in 2022 you had a baby, were pregnant all year, had a baby, moved houses twice or 3 times, however you want to see the different ways we did that, and started a new house, got animals. It's been a little busy. So, oh yeah, had a house renovation. Oh, I'm so glad the house renovation's done. I did not enjoy that. Did not enjoy that phase of last year. But anyway, so yeah, things have been so busy I just didn't even realize it. But anyway, I always like those perks that it came with, but I really just am not ordering from Ulta much anymore. So I let it go, and I'm just, I'm not a diamond or platinum or whatever anymore. You have to tell me, especially I feel like a lot of people who are regulars here on my channel watch and buy a lot of indie, and you have to tell me if you're similar, your journey's been similar, where you used to buy a lot of mainstream and then you got more into indie and that's pretty much all you're buying now. Have you noticed that too as well, of like your, you know, Target or Ulta, wherever you enjoy buying palettes most? Have your purchases really changed in the last couple years? Because it's something I didn't really think about until towards the end of last year, and then I was like, oh yeah, I mean, I don't really order and purchase much from Ulta. And like I said too, you know, not reviewing all types of makeup has definitely been a factor in that, because you know, I'm not reviewing highlighters and blushes and bronzers and whatnot. And if I were, even then, I feel like a lot of indie brands are starting to come out with that, so I probably would still be reviewing from them more so than mainstream, unless it really caught my fancy. Like I said, I still buy mainstream items when it comes to face products and, you know, mascaras and liners and stuff like that. I'm gonna do a little bit of this glitter primer from MBA Cosmetics, but I still buy that stuff, but I just don't focus on reviewing it, and I just kind of buy it in my spare time. And I still have a to-try pile where I put all the new makeup that I bring in, so I can kind of like get a really good feel for it before it goes into my makeup collection, but I just don't review that anymore. I had someone a couple months ago ask to bring back the Shop My Stash, and I thought about it for a while. I was gonna start that back up when we were at our last house, but then we moved and life, you know, had a baby, life been so busy, I just have not. And I feel like now that with my setup currently, I have my entire makeup collection literally like just off camera. I can touch my shelf and it has all my makeup. So I no longer have to have like an everyday makeup drawer near me because my collection's far away. Like my collection's right here. So every day when I sit down to do my makeup, I just kind of turn over and I can pick something new every day. So I feel like my whole collection now is my everyday makeup drawer. So I feel like my Shop My Stashes really aren't relevant anymore, basically. I'm just talking as I let this dry out, but oh my goodness, look at that blend. I'm really happy with this. The mattes in here are absolutely stunning me. There's not a whole lot. Let's see, is it half and half? Yeah, it's about half and half with shimmers and mattes. For the first initial time I looked at it, I was like, oh, there's not as many mattes as I was wanting, but I think there's going to be a lot more like variety when it comes to the mattes, and a lot more color combination possibilities than I anticipated, and I really like that. Also too, I love that they give you a dark green, they give you a light green, they give you a dark blue, they give you a light blue, they give you a dark purple, they give you a light purple, they gave you a dark brown, they gave you a light brown. That's going to be so nice when it comes to doing quick and simple looks. You can just grab one and you get a crease color and an outer corner color, and you pick a lid color, you're good. Or if you're like me and you like to do like a color on the inner half, a color on the outer half, change it up, you're gonna also have just so many possibilities when it comes to what you can put together. So I'm gonna grab this brush because story of my life, I'm running out of brushes, and always flat brushes. I need to get more because I feel like that's always the first one to be like, oh, I don't have any more. Oh my goodness, I just touched Imperfect I don't even know if it's coming across on camera, but it's so shiny. It's got a clearer base, like it's not super opaque, but the level of shine and shift that it gives is stunning. It's like a blue straight on, but on the side I see like a hot pink, bright blue to hot pink. Very, very pretty. Again, I don't know if you'll be able to see. It's not even like a deep swatch. Maybe that'll be better. Oh my goodness. Look at that. Very pretty. I feel like I want to use that. That'd be pretty. And then we could use, do I want to just go purple on the outer half? Ooh, that's like a blue purple. Or I could go green on the outer half and do like, this is Neighborhood. Yeah, Neighborhood. Oh, such a Christmas green. That color green always makes me think of Christmas. But then you also have like grungy. So many possibilities. Oh my goodness. I kind of want to go this grungy, which is Isolation, with this shade, which is Imperfect. I feel like that's a pretty combo. And I can put this green a little bit farther over and then put this shade Imperfect a little bit farther across so that it's more combined in the middle, so that maybe if this is a little too sheer, you won't notice because of this green. We could do that. I'm going to start with a little bit of this shade, which is Imperfect, my bad. Let's put it on the inner half and just see how sheer or not it is. I'm going to start on this side because it looks a little bit more dry. So yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It's a little bit more soft. Let me grab a different brush because that's not the best brush, and I want to give this the most chance it has. It's like a Super Shock formula as I'm tapping in. It looks like a Super Shock shadow, but let's see how much I can build this up. And that way I know how far I want to take that green, because if it can't build it up too much, I think I'll take that green really far in and then put this over almost like a topper color over half of it. That's pretty, but I still feel like it's missing the opaqueness for me. Not that there's anything wrong with the shade, that it's doing what it's intended, and I know a lot of people like this type of shade, but I like it to look super opaque. I don't like it when I see it from like this angle right now, not for you guys, but in the mirror, this angle almost looks transparent, and I don't love that personally. So, because like right here, it's like my eyes naked, and I'm like, like I forgot to put eyeshadow on. I think I would like this more if I put down a colored base, which is why I'm thinking about using that green. Let's go ahead and do that. I'm gonna use Isolation, and let's just see what that does. I'm gonna use this brush for Isolation, and let's put Isolation over majority of the lid. I won't take it all the way in though, so we can, it'll kind of be that much of it will be that true color, and then the rest will be green. But anyway, yeah, it's been an interesting year. And I'm curious to see as I continue on with this year if I rack up any more points with Ulta Beauty now that I'm not, my life, well, I say my life shouldn't be so heavy. I'm not moving at least, so it shouldn't be, or having a baby, Lord willing, or having a baby. Even if I got pregnant now, I guess I could technically have it. Okay. Lord willing, I'm not having a baby. My cycle has not come back, so I don't know. That's always a surprise. But it might be a little bit less hectic, who knows? But I'm curious to see if my like spending habits will increase at all. But I feel like within recent years, I've just kind of, like I said, there have been products that have launched at Ulta, and I'm like, ooh, I could get that. But I just feel like I haven't gone, you know, I say that, and then I don't go that extra step of actually placing the order. So then I end up not getting it. And I mean, I guess that's good for my wallet. Like I said, I still spend money. I'm just spending it, I suppose, more so on indie makeup. And I guess as a whole, as I'm thinking back over all the taxes I've done the past recent years, my spending has gone down just because I think I'm so busy. I'm not picking up as much as I used to review, because like I said, I'm getting so busy in my personal life, and I really enjoy being more thorough with my reviews and my looks. Like when I do a video, I say that as I'm doing a video where I'm just going to show this palette once. Irony. But I do typically enjoy playing with the palettes more than once and giving at least a couple looks in each video. Yeah, now I want to kind of put another couple looks in my video, or in the video for this. So if you see a couple more, I felt guilty. But typically, I like to do a few more looks and just be able to enjoy the palette. I feel like, you know, in past years when I was trying to do them all, I had more time, so I kind of could cram them in. Even though, you know, I guess time is subjective. It just depends on like what you're focusing on. And right now with the homestead and all that, I'm really putting a lot of focus in that as well as my children and YouTube. So, I mean, my children are always priority, but now homestead is, you know, pretty time consuming. So it's kind of encroaching in on a lot of time that I would spent on YouTube either doing looks or editing videos. So anyway, I have a feeling that it's not gonna go up too much, and like I said, I've just been wanting to do more looks with all of the palettes for my videos and for my YouTube than I did in past years, and to kind of focus more on thorough reviews than just a bunch of first impressions. I feel like I enjoy them more when I can use them a couple times and share my thorough review. I like how this is looking, and I actually really like how it is looking putting it on top of this green. I think that's really pretty. I'm just trying to decide if I want to take it all over the green, because that's stunning, or if I should leave some of the true green on the side. I think I'm gonna just take it all over because it gives a very unique look. But anyway, yeah, I don't think I'm going to become a platinum or diamond member with Ulta anymore. It's just not really where my channel went. So, and also with just my personal life, I'm just not purchasing from there as much as I would. So yeah, I remember someone asked me probably like 6 months ago, it was in 2022 sometime, someone was like, oh, can you do an update on your, I forget what the video is called, but it was something about like tips for Ulta Platinum, like how to use your Ulta Platinum points, or best, I forget what the title was, but basically how to use your ultimate rewards to get the most bang for your buck. And I was giving all my tips and tricks, and when they asked me that, that's when I actually went and looked at my ultimate rewards statement to see how many points I had and how close I was to platinum, and I was like, oh wow, I feel like I can't do that video anymore because I'm not really in tune anymore with it. So times change, I suppose. Things happen. I'm just gonna dust away all that. A tiny bit of fallout, but honestly, for how dark these colors are, that is not bad at all for when it comes to fallout at all. I really like how this look is looking, so let's go ahead and finish it out. I'm just gonna take the purple. I thought about doing a pop of blue, but I just really want to have the green on the lid in the inner half and then purple wrap around it. I just feel like that's gonna be so pretty. So I'm sorry if this is a little boring. I'm gonna take Mansion, which is the darkest purple. I'm going to put that there, and then I can take a little bit of that brown if it needs to darken it up anymore. The impressions for the scissors are cute in this palette as well, and they're not going away super fast, which I like. I think Nomad is the brand that I love their impressions, but oh my goodness, they are so softly pressed. The moment, the first look I use, if I'm going right over the impression, it's gone by the end, by the time I finish that first look, and I'm always so sad to see them go. So I always appreciate, it might be something weird to appreciate, but I always appreciate when I use a palette and go over the impressions, and the impressions still stick around for a little while. And then I'm gonna go into Peg, which makes me think of pig, which makes me realize, I don't know if I told you guys, but on YouTube, but we got pigs. I've mentioned it on my Instagram. We have 2 CUNY pigs for our little homestead. I should chat about them for a bit because they're pretty cute. Let me know if you'd want a video and kind of update you guys on the animals we have and what we're doing around here. I was thinking about it as I was sitting down to talk about this. I was like, oh yeah, I haven't really done an update video in a while. So if you'd like to hear about that, I honestly would never, last year if you had told me I would be getting pigs, I'd be like, yeah, no, that's the animal I have absolutely no interest in getting. But now that we own them, and my husband's even the same way, he's like, they're pretty cute. We're really enjoying having them. But anyway, where'd I go? Oh yeah, I read Peg and I saw pig. My children are waking up, so I'm gonna go throw on some mascara. Let me finish this up. All right, so we have Sophia here. Say hello. Hello. I decided to wake up early and party. Hi. Anyway, Sophia's gonna be here for the closeout. I did forget to put an inner corner highlighter on, or highlight shade on with you guys, so I'm just gonna let you guys know. As you guys look at the close-ups, I use this shade right here at the top, which is called the Bogs. So yeah, I put that on my inner corner, and that's the only other thing I did off camera besides, of course, finishing out my look. And wow, am I impressed with this palette. Like I said, I wasn't quite sure going into it. They did say that they reformulated the mattes, so that made me hopeful, but my past experience with the mattes, they weren't that impressive. They were very light, didn't have a whole lot of intensity and pigment to them. They're very like sheer wash of color type on your eyes. They were very soft to touch, yeah, but they just didn't have as much pigment as I like. But oh my goodness, these in this palette, I was very impressed. They all blended out really nicely, beautifully, especially combining the shades together using the light and darks. Beautiful, gorgeous blend. That first shade, like I said, was looking a little funky, so I'll have to use it all by itself in like an all neutral look to see and make sure that that shade maybe was just a one-off. Maybe my, concealer was a little bit damp there. Maybe it was just the way I picked it up on on my brush. You never know. So I definitely have to use it more before I can say if that's like a dud or not. But I mean, using it with the other shades, it blended beautifully. Yeah, is that what you're saying? So overall, very impressed. Still a little pet peeve that they don't put the name on it anywhere, unless I'm like just dumb and don't realize where it is. Honestly, could be an actual possibility. Maybe I'm totally blanking where the name is at, but that would be my one pet peeve and my only pet peeve with this palette because I am thoroughly impressed. Very, very nice. So that is going to do it for my video today because this little one is ready to go probably eat some more and then play. She just scooted yesterday. Like there was a toy in front of her that she couldn't grab, and so she figured out how to get up on her all fours and push herself forward. And I'm like, oh my goodness, that means you're almost crawling. It's going by too fast. You guys slow down. You guys slow down. Oh, you got a little fuzzy or a little barfy or something on you. She's very vocal these days, so I'm gonna go and play with her. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope it was helpful for you guys. And yeah, we just got to chit chat a little bit about the changes with my, YouTube and not using Ulta as much and not being an ultimate, platinum anymore. So that is gonna do it for me. Thank you guys so very much for watching. As always, I'm over on Instagram, LadyKatie92, where I post reels, up close eye pictures, all that sort of thing. You just gonna hum and haw throughout the rest of this? Now she's quiet. But anyway, I'm gonna go for now. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you very soon in my next video. Bye!